Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, Sunix, and with me today, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
That's right, Grumpy. That is you. Before we get into our show, as always, have to go over some housekeeping. If you guys enjoy the content over here, and even if you don't, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, so we can juice up that algorithm and get this show out to as many people as possible. We want everybody watching. Usually shoot to have this show every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Pretty close today.
Yeah, pretty close today. Pretty close. Better today. Better. But yeah, with everything said, let's get into the show, Grumpy. So big news. We had the NHL draft lottery this past week, Grumpy.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Do we want to jump right? Well, I mean, a lot of conspiracy theories going around.
There are a lot of, and me, who's conspiracy corner over here. I have some stuff loaded up to show, Grumpy, the conspiracies.
I am interested in that. Do we want to do a quick recap of the first round of the playoffs?
Sure, we can do that. That's fine.
I do want to talk about the NHL draft lottery. It's, as I've said many times before, draft season and off-season team building, it's usually my favorite time of the year, even more than playing the games, honestly. Because hope springs eternal. Every move that your team makes could be a great move, and unless you're Matthew Darsh, they're all bad. But other than that, that's kind of what you're hoping as as a fan. Hope springs eternal, if you will.
Correct.
Who did we pick in the first round? I think I picked Colorado.
Yes, I picked Colorado as well. I think that one was already a lock when we had done our selections. That one was already figured out. Same with Carolina. Carolina had already advanced when you did our selections. Dallas and Minnesota, I think we both picked Minnesota.
Yeah.
I know I had picked Buffalo. I went against my my Boston, team that I projected from the start of the season to make the playoffs. I do want to add that in there. But yeah, I didn't have them moving on. I want to say we both picked.
You had Edmonton. I had Anaheim.
I did have Edmonton. I know that for a fact. I did have Edmonton. I want to say we both had Utah.
I was rooting for Utah.
I think we both had picked Utah.
And
we had Philly moving on against Pittsburgh.
I think we had Philly moving on. Not that it mattered. Anybody coming out of that side
was going to lose.
As we can see, Carolina's already up 2-0. I mean, the Flyers played much better the first game was like, yikes.
Yes.
Second game, Flyers came out. They had a 2-0 lead before 5 minutes was off the clock, and they still wound up losing 3-2 in overtime.
Overtime, yep. Overtime loss.
It just kind of is what it is. Best series of the first round of the playoffs was what, in your opinion?
Tampa, Montreal, it's not even close.
Tampa Montreal was really,
That's
really
the
good.
best series by far.
Every goal was a 1-goal differential. I thought
It felt like a Stanley Cup final. Like it was wild.
I thought that after Montreal, I thought if Montreal was going to win, they had to win at home. I didn't think they'd go back to Tampa and win. And Tampa totally dominated them.
Yep. Oh, absolutely did. Vasilevsky, I mean, I think gave up 2 goals on 10 shots.
Well, I think it was 9 shots on goal.
Okay.
Maybe it was 10. It was like the lowest ever.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But honestly, not all the goals. I don't think those goals are really his fault, though.
No, neither goal was his fault.
One was a really lucky deflection goal. And the other one, I think it bounced in off someone, right?
Banked off of him.
Okay.
Off of him, the guy threw it from behind the net. It happens sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
As he's coming back, it bangs off him, goes in the net, and Montreal just hung on.
Yes.
You could show that they're a little weak. I'm not saying you could tell that they're not battle tested. That's what I'll say. Mm-hmm. But in the second round, they have Buffalo, who's also not battle tested. So I just find it interesting that those two teams are matching up. I think it's going to be probably the best series of the second round because these are both wide open offenses.
Buffalo, Montreal. Yes, I agree. Honestly, as long as Montreal keeps moving on, it seems like they got the best series. I mean, they're like,
well, they're fun to watch.
They are fun to watch, but I will say the thing is, it's not going to be conducive long term. I think they have a very high possibility to get eliminated this second round just because they're worn out. You're playing games. You're playing 7-game series. It's gonna wear your guy, and it's not like they're just regular 7-game series. Like, we just dropped a game here, we dropped 2 games here. I mean, they're battling night in, night out, overtime games. It just get tired. You're worn out.
I mean, it was by far the best series. I thought it was the best hockey. Played. Really not sloppy. Couple of Vasilevsky in game 5 let in a weak goal that gave Montreal the game. That was a terrible goal to give up. But then he was great in game 6. And like I said, I don't know, but the playoffs seem to be lacking a little something this year. Like I said, with the exception of that series, nothing else was really super close, right? It was the only 7-gamer. You had 2 sweeps. Buffalo should have been a sweep, honestly. Can you scroll down?
Same with Philadelphia. Philadelphia should have been a sweep.
Yeah. I mean, they went up.
Maybe a gentleman's sweep at most.
They went up
3-0 in that series.
Yeah, they went up 3-0, and then a couple of games Pittsburgh scores, and then they close out that game. I mean, if you're asking me who's a better team, Pittsburgh's probably a better team talent-wise, but Vladar was really good in goal, and Philadelphia has Tristan Jarry West and Stuart Skinner as their main goaltender, and he was so bad that they had to bring Seelovs in. And I thought he was okay.
Yeah.
But it's still a weakness for them. Going forward, I know we've a couple of games in. Who are you picking, X? These in the quarterfinals, if you will, of the.
I got absolutely Carolina moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, 100%. I want Montreal to move on too, so I'm just going to say them. Even though I think Buffalo probably has a better shot than Montreal, but I'm just going to pick Montreal. Colorado absolutely is going to move on. And then between Vegas and Anaheim, I want to see Anaheim move on. So I'm picking a couple underdogs, teams that are definitely probably going to be down in the series, at least after game 1. But I wouldn't. Those are the teams I want to see move on. So those would be the ones I'm pulling for.
Yeah, I think Colorado in game 1, Colorado beat Minnesota by a late field goal, 9-6. And then you had Vegas really controlled the action against Anaheim. I don't see Anaheim having any shot against Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Colorado and Vegas in the conference final, Western Conference Final. And I think it's going to be Carolina, of course. And I'm picking Montreal.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean could it be Buffalo? Yeah. I just have a hard time. That's going to be the most fun series. That's one thing I predict. That's the one thing that's going to be a tight series. I don't think it's going to be 5 games. I think it's going to maybe go 7. I mean, that's possible. I think the other ones could almost all of them could be sweeps, honestly.
Do you think Anaheim gets swept?
I didn't think Edmonton was that good. I just think Vegas is. I don't know if they'll sweep them. Maybe 5 games. I just think it's Vegas series to lose. I'll just put it to you that way.
Okay.
Carolina over Philly. Philly might win a game in Philadelphia. They played much better and I thought they controlled actually overtime for the most part against Carolina. But at the end of the day, Carolina is just going to do Carolina things. And
Carolina's just so much better.
They're just way better. Way better. It's not a
Also,
crime.
you see, Grumpy, interesting fact about Carolina. They're selling beer skates at the games. I don't know if you saw them. And I can try and look up a picture and pull them up.
I have not. If you could show us, that'd be great.
Okay, well, I'll just say they were selling beer skates at the games, and those things are selling for over $200 resale online.
Was it plastic cup?
Yes. Oh, I think it's a little bit more than a plastic cup, but yeah, here we go. I'll play this for us.
How much did it cost to buy it at the game?
Probably a good bit, I would say.
Not a couple of $100.
Not $100. Not $100. I would say probably like $20 plus though.
I guess if you're going to get a suit.
Yeah, here's a beer skate, and it's let me remove the banner here so that way you can see the whole thing. But
and I guess you see the beer fill up oh, look at that. Boy, it looks like it takes quite a bit of alcoholic beverage there.
It does. I mean, you're getting a lot. You're getting a bang for your buck for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at it, boy. I mean, oh, geez, of course.
Cuppeth runneth over.
My dad, he hated those beer commercials.
Yeah.
Now, he was a professional drinker, though, right?
Yes.
And he hated those beer commercials that they'd show, because they pour it in and everything would, bubble up and flow over the top and he's like, what a waste. And pouring all over the table. That's not the way to do it. It loses something when you just glug it in like that. That's not the way to get a beer served.
Oh, my God.
Whenever I see that, I always think about whether he said that.
Yeah. But I just thought those were pretty cool. I think that's the first time any team's ever done. Usually they'll do like the beer sticks. That's been like a big one that a lot of the teams have done. Nobody's done a beer skate. So I wonder if other teams will hop on that trend next year.
So that's a popular resale item?
Oh yeah, it's going for some money, over $200 resale online. So I'm just like, why would somebody spend $200 on that when you could just get it at the game?
Yeah.
Unless you're a fan that lives like, across the country or somewhere else of the team, that would be the only reason I would think of that. But
yeah. But I think it's going to be pretty straightforward.
Yes.
For the quarterfinals, and then you're going to get the 1 and 2. Oh, I guess Vegas was a 4. Was Vegas? I think they were the 2 seed. Were they not, Vegas?
Vegas was in
the West. Were they the 2 seed in the West?
It says 1, D1.
Okay, and then no, I think Colorado was the 1 seed. Vegas was probably the 2 seed.
Vegas was the 1 seed in the, or they were the 2 seed. They would have been the 2 seed. Colorado was the 1.
Okay, so they were the 1 seed. Seed out of the Pacific.
Colorado had 119 points. Vegas had 93. So since they were the number 1 team in the Pacific.
Okay, but so yeah, so you also had Dallas, who's been eliminated, had more points.
112, and then Minnesota also had 104.
Yeah.
So every team, the top 3 teams in the Central had more than Vegas, who was the top team in the Pacific.
And this was the first time that Minnesota had advanced to the second round of the playoffs in years and years and years. Maybe you could look up how many years it's been, X. I want to say it's been like 10 years since they advanced to a second round of the playoffs. I don't know. But it was a long time, so good news for them. Philadelphia, first time advancing to the second round in forever. Buffalo, first time making the playoffs in 15 years.
11 years. It said
years.
2015. It said they last reached the second round in the 2015 before defeating the Dallas Stars in the 6-game series this year.
Okay. And of course, the biggest exit was two-time Stanley Cup finalist Edmonton getting beat in the first round.
Yep.
And you wonder how much longer Connor McDavid is going to be with Edmonton. I think he'll be there this year, and I think he'll get moved in the offseason. I don't think they'll move him this year.
Well, the issue with them is they didn't do the one thing that the team was missing, they did not address ever. It was a goaltender. They never did.
Yeah, but they also lost a lot of players to free agency, and they didn't have any money to fill those holes. So the depth that they had was gone. And I don't think McDavid was as dominant as he's been in the past this year. Draisaitl was really good, but McDavid really wasn't. And you just wonder how long he's going to be there.
You think if he moves, he's going to Toronto?
Yeah. I mean, the league likes to have Toronto be good. I will say that. It's a Toronto-based league, that was certain. When they don't make the playoffs, we want to make sure we take care of them, get them back there as soon as possible.
Yeah, crazy. And an interesting fact that I saw online, over the last decade, the Toronto Maple Leafs only not made the playoffs twice, and magically they won the draft lottery both those years that they didn't make the playoffs.
Incredible.
Funny how that works, right?
Incredible.
It's weird. Really
Incredible. Weird. I guess let's talk about the NHL draft lottery, or do we want to talk about what happened before the lottery?
Whichever one you want to go over first.
Let's start. I just, I always like what happens with Toronto. And I thought there was an interesting back and forth with the president of Toronto and a beat reporter when they hired their GM.
And I can go ahead and run this for you, Grumpy.
Yeah. And the GM, what's his name, X? Can you look at his name?
Keith?
No, Keith Pelly is he's the reporter, I believe.
I don't know what's his name.
John Chakya.
Okay.
He used to be the GM in Arizona, and he had some issues in the past. And maybe we'll just let this play out and see what you think, and just see how different it is whenever you see the beat writers for the New York Islanders talk to the general manager or whoever, the director of hockey ops or whoever, wherever this guy ranks with the team. And just tell me if you see anything different from the way the press handles the Islanders and the way it handles the Maple Leafs. Let's roll. Let's roll.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay. Now, who do you feel worse for?
I feel bad for this guy right here who just got absolutely shredded.
Oh, he's like
the reporter. I feel bad for Mr. John.
Usually, a new GM is going to get a honeymoon period,
or usually they get a softball question like, "Hey, yeah." Usually they'll get like a softball question like, "Hey, what's your favorite thing about coming here? What do you enjoy most?" Not, yeah. Everybody says it's a sham. It's absolutely disgraceful.
You're a liar, a snake oil salesman.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's incredible, right? It's like, oh my gosh. And scroll up a little bit again, because this is the guy who they were talking to before. Just nope, not him. Scroll so I can read the name again. Keith Pelly. Okay, Keith Pelly's answering this question.
Must have talked to different people.
They talk to different people.
Conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time.
I must have talked to different people.
That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay. Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence and it was deep due diligence. It was a thorough process and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Okay, here's my question. Do you think that that Mr. Reporter over here is ever going to get invited back to ask questions?
He doubled down. He went on social media and talked shit about him on social media. It was so bad. It was so bad. And if you go back to the end of this call, look at the glasses on Keith Pelly. If you can just scroll to the end.
Are they fogged up?
No, they weren't fogged up, but look, they look like they're kind of go further towards the end. Okay, right there. It's like they're crooked. Like he just got punched in the face. You know, you're not supposed. They always say you never punch a guy in the face who's wearing glasses. Man, this Steve Simmons guy punched him right in the face. Like I said, there's usually a honeymoon period that a GM or coach gets. Even we gave Darsh a honeymoon period. It wasn't long, right? A couple of months, a couple of weeks, whatever it was. But we weren't ripping him immediately. This first question out of the chute is like, oh my God.
What do you think would be the response if they asked about how Darsh got the position?
They
What do
wouldn't ask those questions.
I'm saying if they did ask, like, what made him the perfect candidate? What made him the guy who got the job over anyone else?
He's a hell of a pickleball player, and he serves a mean cup of coffee.
We must talk to different people.
Must have talked to different. Yeah. Who did you talk to? Who'd you talk to? Oh, I talked to the barista at Starbucks. Him, and then I talked to Wayne, who schedules the pickleball times down at Nassau Racket. Yeah, no. I mean, here's the thing. Czechia has experience with Arizona. Now, he was skewered, absolutely skewered in his press conference. He probably wishes he would have brought his kids up there on stage. Maybe they would have been a little nicer to him. You ever notice when guys are trying to cover when they do something wrong, they'll bring their wife and kids out there and it kind of for sympathy. I think they might have shot the kids if they went up there. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy was brutal. It was brutal. It was brutal.
It's tough to get back from that one.
So then the rumors start. Wow, after this GM hire and them just getting obliterated in the press, they figured that Toronto had a pretty good chance of winning the draft lottery. And how'd that play out, X?
I don't know. Let's go ahead and watch this real quick, Kirby.
Let's watch it.
Let's see how this played out.
Who gets the first pick of the draft?
Draw. 12.
Wow.
Number 12.
The number 12, the Toronto Maple Leafs have won the NHL draft lottery, and Matt Sundin is smiling ear to ear.
Boy, he's excited, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Now, initially, there was no reaction on his face after they won.
Because he knew.
Well, they had to talk. I just wonder if it's really live or not.
I think that it's all fabricated.
Now, I do want to say some things. I don't know why they need Bettman and 4 other people up there to get the ping pong balls and verify the numbers. Bill Daly verifies the numbers. Like what? We don't know what the numbers are. You're putting them up on the screen. Oh, I am here to verify that these are the 4 numbers. Nonsense. They had a girl there. I don't even know what she was doing, honestly. I don't know why she was there. And then you had the portly little ball spinner technician where his suit was a little too tight. His hair, he's got like, he had to put it in a ponytail. And he just looks scruffy as shit. The warden was watching, even though she hated it. She's like, oh, when is this going to be over? I said, it'll be over. It's a half hour. I'm not getting back in my life. Come on, warden. Come on. Don't be like that now.
Now, interesting fact here. Somebody posted this and said that it's crazy that the number 8 ball seemed to be going up before the number 12 did, but magically the number 12 ball finished up there first.
I wonder if it's really live or not.
Let's go ahead and watch. So you see, there's number 8.
That is a number 8, isn't it?
And then number 12 shoots up there.
How does that possible? Oh, look at it, past it. Oh, so you're thinking there was maybe something, maybe that 12 ball was lighter than
unless number 8 is on the outside of the tube.
I
Unless
don't
number
know.
8 is on the outside of the tube, that's the only way that it could possibly be.
I don't know. That's a little bit of conspiracy theory from Sun X. That's all I got to say. I just like how it's 15 seconds and they have a go and it's like brrr, and they go draw, and then you have Peter Portley just boop hits the little number, it comes up, and then he's supposed to show the numbers. He dropped one of the balls, he didn't load it back in. Oh, see, look how fat his fingers are. And they're soft. They're soft. Look at him, he's manicured. I mean, come on, they're not manicured. He's just soft. I mean,
I just find it funny that the 2 years in the last decade that the Maple Leafs did not make the playoffs, they magically won the draft lottery. That's all I'm going to say.
it's interesting. We've had things like that
I
before.
think they have selections, and they somehow this thing is rigged up where it only sucks up a certain ball. That's how I think it works.
Well, look at you, X.
Magnets, something.
Magnets. Well, don't they have to have that for like all four?
No, they just yeah, they probably
Or
do
you
that.
think when they go to
They
commercial,
wheel out a new machine.
when they go to commercial, they're just swapping out that ball.
Probably they're
Oh.
swapping out the balls. They say, "Hey, all right, we need number 6 ball to pop up next. Get the magnetized one and throw it in there."
I just find it funny that you knew when they were going to go to commercial timeout, right? And it's like, oh, come on, guys, just roll it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's all fabricated.
I'm
And I'm going to even say for the Islanders winning, the reason the Islanders won was because they took away the All-Star game.
well, we know that. We know that's your conspiracy theory there.
It's
Now,
fact.
here's the thing, though. I mean, we talked about that at the time. But remember, I knew we were winning that draft lottery last year. Remember, I talked about before, like a week before, I said, we're winning the draft lottery. I just felt it. I knew it. But one thing that I want to say, and here's the thing, I enjoy it. I enjoy the draft lottery thing because it's easy to poke holes in all the things. Just
Here's what you could do instead of doing the lottery. Do what the NFL does. The crappiest team gets the number 1 overall pick.
who do you feel the worst for, honestly?
Vancouver.
Vancouver, because they were easily the worst team in the league.
Vancouver's awful. Or the Rangers. I mean, I don't feel bad for the Rangers, but
The Rangers.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, they kind of got screwed too because the Rangers were terrible this year as well. And it's like, no, Toronto's going to be the one that wins it.
Well, Vancouver is the team I thought.
Vancouver was really bad. Yeah.
They're really awful.
Yep.
But for me, like I said, I love poking fun at it. I think it's fun, and it just looks like amateur hour, honestly, when they do it.
Something to crap on for sure.
But I tell you what, John Butchergrass does a great job as the host. He's really, really good. Bettman looks like a fish up there, just terrible. But Butchergrass, he is so good. I mean, I really like him. Anytime he's on any NHL telecast or the host of the studio show or whatever, I just think he's great. And I think he's really good at that particular thing. So what it also means is that Toronto has to give up their next 2 first-round picks, either next year or the year after. In either order, Philadelphia and Boston automatically get Toronto's first-round pick. If Toronto didn't win the lottery or move up 1 spot, they start at 6. If they didn't move up 1 spot, then the pick automatically would have went to Boston. So I don't know if Boston automatically gets it next year or what. I don't know how that works. But that Boston was probably hoping that that Toronto was not winning that lottery or moving up a spot. Number 2 pick wound up being San Jose Sharks.
They're another dumpster. They're on the up and up, but they're not a great team either.
No, they're not a great team. They have no defense. The goaltending is average. They have some offensive pieces, though. They absolutely do.
If we had an average goaltender, we would be the San Jose Sharks.
We'd be worse than the Sharks. We'd be the Rangers. Bad. Bottom 5. It wasn't too long ago the Islanders are picking the bottom 5 all the time. Every year. It's not too far removed, X.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying. But we do want to talk about how these things impact the Islanders. It's funny. I actually let myself daydream a little bit and say that perhaps the Islanders would move up to number 3 because the most number of spots you can move up is 10. So I thought that the Islanders perhaps would move up to number 3. And then what would you have done if the Islanders came up with number 3?
If the Islanders had number 3 pick in the draft?
3 pick. Now, they don't have a second or a third rounder.
Well, from what I saw, early projections, some people were talking online. They think that Gavin McKenna is going to go third overall. So I wouldn't mind the Islanders getting Gavin McKenna.
Okay. Well, Gavin McKenna is not going third overall. I don't see how Toronto doesn't take him.
Maybe his troubled past with his fighting on the streets of Pennsylvania.
I don't know, but let's say, do we have any photos of or anything about Gavin McKenna?
We do, Grumpy.
Can we just roll that? I'm just interested what his reaction was.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Accidentally started it there a little too quickly. Ooh.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay, can we look at the other thing first?
Oh, okay, that's fine. Hold on. You have to wait for me to remove that and get out of this.
Yeah.
Sorry, you did not specify what you wanted.
Well, we show the picture first. You know, the little meme that's out there, which I found interesting.
Gavin McKenna, after Toronto wins the number 1 pick of the draft.
No, anything but that. Oh, no. I think that was somebody at the counter. Looks like he's milking it to me.
Yes. Do you know who that is, Grumpy?
No, who is it?
That is Bad Bunny.
Oh, my God, that loser.
Oh, I just figured that would get you going. But no, I did also hear a report that Gavin McKenna has apparently broken both of his ankles clean in half in order to not get drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow, he was hobbled.
Yep.
Well, I think he's from Western Canada, right? Okay, now just look at his appearance. This looks like a prison photo right here, like when they put you in a lineup.
Oh my God. Well, here let's listen to what he has to say.
Well, obviously, I'm a bit disappointed the Leafs got the first pick. I mean, seriously, how many fucking first rounders have those clowns drafted and got absolutely nowhere with them? Marner's gone. Matthews will be fucking gone. And I ain't going to fucking play for him. That's for fucking sure. They're a team that's never made it past the third round in history. I'll bomb my fucking interview with the Leafs. Then I'll get picked second overall to the San Jose Sharks. I'll win a cup with the Sharks, and the Leafs won't make the fucking playoffs for another 6 years. So, yeah, fuck you, Toronto, and fuck you, John Chayka. You ain't picking me, pal.
That's obviously but
Of course it is.
that was funny.
Even when you talked to him, he was just not excited.
No.
He was like, and he looked like a bum, honestly. And I thought back to how Matthew Schaefer presented himself. And it was just night and day, honestly. It was night and day where Matthew Schaefer is maturity-wise compared to Gavin McKenna. It's not to rip Gavin McKenna. He's 18 years old. It's still boys yet. But it just shows you how much more advanced Matthew Schaefer was. And I'll tell you what, San Jose gets the second overall pick. They're probably going to take Ivan Stenberg at number 2. They desperately need defensemen, though. Do you trade down if you're them? There's a whole lot of defensemen who can play in the league right away. If you trade down to 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 or 2 to 6. Albert Smits is there. Carroll's is there. Cam Reed is there. I mean, there's a lot of good defensemen which they desperately need. I mean, they wanted Schaefer in the worst way last year. They were crushed when they didn't get Schaefer. That's the guy they wanted. And I don't blame him. Michael Misa, he's all right, I guess.
He's no Schaefer.
He's no Schaefer, though. Islanders got lucky.
Yep.
So, like I said, I had a little dream scenario where it's like, oh, okay, maybe the Islanders get number 3. What would I do? I would trade down. I would have traded down. Absolutely. A couple times even. Recoup assets.
Why would you recoup assets when you're just going to trade them away for old, aging veterans on other teams who are absolutely pathetic and cancers in the locker room, and magically, as soon as they leave teams, their teams start performing better?
I just think that's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. Now they're picking at 13, and it almost seems like this is a 10-player draft to me, where the top 10 are like pretty much cemented in. And it's like maybe you trade 13 down to 17, maybe go from 17 to 22 and pick yourself up, maybe a first next year, a couple of seconds this year, late round first, whatever it is. Those are the type of moves I'm interested in making. Get some more young talent in the cupboards. That's what I'm into. I mean, the Islanders didn't win the draft lottery this year. It would have been great if they came up to number 3. But, of course, I didn't expect that.
Yep.
It's just interesting. We're going to be doing a lot of research. If the Islanders stick where they were, there's a kid, Adam Novotny, who I tend to like quite a bit. If he's available there, he'd be a guy I'd be into. The Rangers, it looks like maybe Caleb Malhotra to them, I think. I think you're going to see McKenna and Stenberg go 1 and 2. Then you're going to see a couple defensemen go. Probably Reed and then Carroll's, and then maybe Malhotra, then Smith's after that. I'd love for the Islanders to have a shot to get the Belchez kid. I just don't think he's going to make it to where they can move up for him because, well, they have no ammunition. That's why you
trade it all away.
That's why you don't trade away draft picks, because they're assets. You could have moved. Let's say the Belchez kid, who's a big forward, right? 6'5", 230 pounds, skates really well, good shot. It's going to take, he's a power forward, right? True power forward. It's going to take a little time for him to develop, just like most of these kids, right?
Yep.
But think about how you have him on a first line, right? Good hands. But you have nothing to move up with. Absolutely nothing.
You got Romanov. You trade him.
Romanov's not even worth a used puck bag. He's not even worth an empty bottle of Febreze to spray down his equipment at the end of games.
Oh, my God. All right, let's get into some comments, Grumpy. Or do you want to do the ad read?
Let's do the ad read first, X. If we could just do the ad read, I appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay, we're going to have our ad read today is from DraftKings. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Best player props, bet live. From the opening faceoff to the final horn, every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Don't even have to win to get this. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see DraftKings, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. So yeah, don't be afraid to get that DraftKings. Give you the $5 and get the $100 instantly in bonus bets. You're on mute, Mr. X.
Sorry, I was muting myself while you were reading that. I did also want to say one thing. I noticed Phil's Facts posted something on Twitter that says Slobson.
He does that all the time.
Play on words for Noah Dobson. And it's talking about the first goal that Buffalo scored tonight. I don't know what he expects Dobson to do in this situation. It is a 3-on-1.
He's once again the only guy who plays any defense on that.
He's a 3-on-1. Whoever their other defender was got caught pinching along the boards and fell down, got walked around,
Hudson.
and it's a 3-on-1.
I think it's Hudson.
It's a 3-on-1. I'm like, what do you expect him to do on a 3-on-1? I mean, he went to ground to try and block a pass, but I mean, he stretched himself out as far as he can go to try and block 2 passing options coming up.
Yeah, go figure, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't blame Dobson on that one. That's definitely not his fault. It's on whoever was on his rear end by the boards. That's the guy who I'm blaming it on.
Very true. Very true. Thanks.
Anyway, Grumpy, let's get into some of these comments.
David DeJesu says, hey, guys, it's obvious that the that the two adding additions to the Islanders during the trade line were Lou-type moves. Remember, he's an advisor to Malkin. He's the same guy in position when was for Toronto Maple Leafs. Matthew Darsh doesn't have 100% control of decisions yet. He never should. I don't think Lou Lamoriello had anything to do with those deals. Lamoriello wouldn't have given up that much for Braden Shen. Not at this stage of his career. Absolutely.
And, Empire, it is June 26th through the 27th.
Okay. That's like a Friday and a Saturday, I believe. First round's on Friday night, and then the rest is on Saturday.
You read this one, sorry.
Yep. Freedom Funaveg says Rocky Thompson is a very good hire for the Islanders. I wonder if there will be more staff changes. Bogner probably staying here, worked with DeBoer before. Bennett stay and Steve Spott from Boston hired. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to wait for that and see what they do. I don't think you're going to have the same coaching staff, though. Absolutely not. Peter DeBoer is going to want his own guys in here, and he should.
Yeah,
he's an established coach, and he should get his selection of whatever assistant coaches he wants. He's been there. He's never won, but he's gotten close. And a guy like that has earned a spot to, he's earned a reputation and the ability to make his own coaching hires. I firmly believe in that. Freedom for the Bench says, my review, if Sun's X's financial planning
of Sun X's financial planning courses.
It said if. Okay.
I know, but he meant of.
Okay. Host was at least 35 minutes late both nights. Host seems to have catered a life of ease for himself.
Created a life of ease for himself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which I want to replicate, but need a kinder, kind-hearted, older.
Hold on.
People to fund. Wife segment, good on luxury international travel, but again, parent-based and need to adjust camera for her if she was standing behind a desk and could only see the top of her head while on.
Oh my God.
Well, wifey Y is a little vertically challenged.
She is. She absolutely is.
Liza's almost as tall as her already.
That she is. She's very close.
And she's 2.
Yes.
JP says Montreal has really good goaltending now, and they still have a guy in their system who's supposed to be a potential all-star, talking about Fowler. They're going to be good for quite a while moving forward. Do you remember what I said last week, X? That are we seeing a changing of the guard?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're teams who hadn't been good are now becoming good.
Younger teams are starting, like the Anaheims, like the Montreals.
The Floridas are getting phased out. The Rangers phased out.
Edmonton
phased out. Yep.
I mean, that's why I firmly believe that this year Edmonton's last year. They have so many guys who are UFAs after next season.
Yeah.
He's not going to stay. And if they don't trade him by the deadline next year,
he'll walk and go wherever he wants.
I mean, where do you think would be the best landing spots for Connor McDavid?
To succeed?
Where he wants to go also and have a chance to
you think he wants to probably go stay in Canada, right?
Well, I'm not saying necessarily stay in Canada, but maybe in the Northeast.
I mean, I would say it's probably either.
If you're looking for a young team, I think Toronto is absolutely one of those teams.
Buffalo's a young team.
Buffalo, yes.
That's been playing well.
Yeah. And just needs, I think they won tonight.
Yeah.
But I just think that they're a team that absolutely has the assets to make a deal with Edmonton. I mean, they're loaded with young talent in their farm system.
You want to go to the Islanders?
He's never going there.
No.
I don't even think he likes to go there when they play there. Do I have to go there? Can I just take the night off?
Oh, my God. He calls out sick those games. He's got muscle strains.
Yeah, I got an ass ache. Can't go.
He's got what do they call it? Overload, muscle overload. That's what it is.
That's right. What do they say? He needs maintenance day.
Yeah.
Maintenance day, yeah. Matthew Sklar says, I got Carolina in 5, Montreal in 7, Vegas in 6, Minnesota in 7. Yeah, I don't see Minnesota beating
I can't either.
I don't see, and I see Vegas beating Anaheim, and I also pick Montreal and Carolina. JP says, I know that that Dobas stole Game 7 versus Tampa, but don't underestimate the impact that Noah Dobson had in Game 7. Though, yeah, Dobson was really good in Game 7, but Dobas was really good in Game 7 also. Is he a great goaltender? I don't know. In a year or two, he's not even going to be the starter for them anymore. It's going to be the Fowler kid. That's what will happen. But he was good, really good in Game 7. He was. It was a fun game to watch.
It was a good game to watch.
Greg Prado probably wants to sell a book. Who knows? Greg Prado, only kidding, Greg. Greg Prado is back for the attack. A general request. I recently celebrated a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
How old do you think he looks, Hex? Now, I think that's a doctored photo, by the way. 60s,
I'm gonna say
70s.
not 60. I was gonna say like in 40s, in the 40s.
You think he's in his 40s? Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's in his early 50s.
Okay, I was gonna say in his 40s. So
Maybe he's in his 40s. I don't know. He's probably not in his 60s. If he's in his 60s, he looks damn good for being 60.
yeah.
Any chance I can get you both to serenade me with a rendition of the popular Happy Birthday song? 1, 2, 3, go. Go ahead, X, sing.
Happy birthday to you. Come on, Grumpy.
Cha,
Happy birthday to you.
cha, cha, cha.
Happy birthday, dear Greg.
Greg.
Happy birthday to you.
Woohoo!
There we go.
Happy birthday to Greg.
Yep.
On his however many years.
However many year-old birthday.
That's it. Freedom Fund Event says, Son X, do you actually watch the playoff games? If you do, what do you think of the violence and the physicality? Could the Islanders match that? Say no, anything else, and you're dumb.
Okay. I just don't think the Islanders are talented enough to match these other teams.
But do you think they have the physicality to play in the playoffs? I think they do. Not fighting wise, but they can play aggressive on the forecheck. They can. You're right, though. They have no talent.
Yeah.
I mean Philadelphia
is better.
When Philadelphia was hard charging and stapling Pittsburgh to the boards all night long, they beat Pittsburgh. When they didn't do that, they were overmatched talent-wise.
Yep. And here's the thing I'll say though. For instance, that Carolina game where I don't know who it was for Ottawa absolutely took a cheap shot and knocked that guy out for Carolina. Yeah, no, I don't think the Islanders have the people to back that up. I don't.
Okay.
I know it's the last game of the series, but still.
Yeah.
You got to back up your teammates. Run the goalie, something.
Run the goalie. Stick him.
Absolutely. Spear him right in the throat. Cross him.
You think he's trying to poke the ball?
Give him a tracheotomy. Little boom right to the trachea.
Okay. Ogie Oglethorpe.
I will say no, I don't think that they do.
Okay. David DeJesu says, until Lou is 100% gone from being around this team, nothing will change. I don't think he has any input anymore. I don't.
Feels like it's like the ghost of Christmas past, like he's still lingering over the team.
Very true. Freedom Fund Event says, Grumpy, tell the audience about when you and DJ had real guests like Rich Pilon and not the crap you've been serving up since I began watching. Stunned when that popped up on my suggestions last week. Yeah, we had guys, Robbie Vitoric, and we had Rich Pilon. We absolutely did. TJ was in charge of all that.
That is very true.
I mean, TJ, you know, not to run you down, X, but TJ was really good doing stuff like that. He really was. He was really good. David Sean McDonald says the Islanders pressed with their softball questions. Yeah. Do you think anyone would have said that to Lamoriello?
No.
No.
I think you say that to Darsh either. No.
Like, why are you doing?
You could ask him the same exact question.
Why are you bringing Patrick Waugh back from the dead, the QHL? No one thought he'd ever be back in the league. I mean, that guy just.
Guess we talked to different people.
What do you think? The Pelly guy was thinking. What do you think he was thinking at that time?
I just need to keep my mouth shut.
Man, who really hired this guy? Or just a mouthpiece, but who hired this guy?
Yeah.
Matthew Sklar says, "Wow, that's quite a damning comment." I mean, he didn't pull any punches. I mean, yikes. It's pretty bad. Frank from Empire State Construction says, can't believe the Leaves probably won the first.
Won the first pick, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We're going to find out.
Rigged.
Frank also has, who do we draft at number 13? I'm looking at Adam Novotny. That's what I'm looking at. Now, somebody could drop. I think the Islanders have so many needs that it doesn't matter. But I'm looking for a guy like Adam Novotny. I've seen some things on him. I think he'll be available at 13 also. So that's why I'm kind of looking at him. But, I mean, if you want to trade down a couple of times, if you have let's say you have a clump of 4 or 5 guys that you consider virtually not identical, but where you have them bunched together as a group, that's when you drop down. If you have, in the olden days, of course, if you have somebody like in your top 5 that drops to number 11, you move a package up to get that kid. You get a package to get up to number 11 to select him. You don't let him get down to 13. You don't hope he gets down to 13. That's what you do. I don't know what Darce is going to do. He's a fool and a boob and incompetent. That's been established already. So I don't know what he's going to do with the draft. This is his first draft. Last year doesn't count. Last year, honestly, doesn't count. He had no input on scouting or anything else. Freedom from the Bench says, well, check it out, Grumpy. Seriously, stop making up the coffee and pickleball crap on Darce. It's true. We've seen your collection of guests and you got no sources. Read, listen to credible hockey folks on Darce sucks. Sorry, he sucks. He's horrible. I mean, all you have to do is look at what he's done. Look at his actions. That's all you got to say. He's an incompetent boob. Matthew Scholar says, it's called an audit. It's required. Yeah, it's just cheesy as hell the way they do it. That's all. Bill Daly is the guy. Can he even count to 13 or 16? I don't know. Freedom Fundamentals goes, it's not fabricated. The accounting firm is there. It's live. Yeah, okay.
I think it's absolutely fixed. I
think it's fixed. Tell us again, X.
It's magnets.
They got the magnets. You think it's the magnets?
That guy was wearing a ring on his hand, wasn't he?
He was wearing a ring on his hand. You know he wasn't from Toronto then. They didn't give out rings in the 1960s.
Damn.
It's almost, think about it. It's going to be next year 60 years since the Leafs won the Stanley Cup. 60. Even the Rangers.
It's been a long way.
1940 seems so long ago in 1994. It even seemed long ago when the Islanders were beating them, in the 80s. It seemed like, man, it's so long ago, 1940. Well, that was a lot shorter period than the last time Toronto won. Frank from Empire State says, #rigged. JP says, I definitely think X is right. It's definitely manipulated, all of it. There you go. You got some followers there.
Magnet.
Got some followers.
It's the truth.
What's the place out in New Mexico where they have the aliens? What's it called? Roswell.
It's called
Area 51.
Well, yeah, Area 51 is yes. And they have the Bermuda Triangles where everything gets lost.
Disappears. Just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Probably where the actual draft lottery machine went.
Oh no, X. Are you trying to say the actual draft lottery machine is somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle?
That's right.
And they had to pull out the spare to make sure Toronto won with the
magnetized one.
The magnet ball? Okay. Yep. They just swapped that out at the end. Yeah. Freedom goes, that Toronto press conference was wild. Sounds like your audience questioning TJ and his BS and shitty guests. Oh my goodness. Goon says, Grumpy, a while back at the height of Matt S. mania. Matt S. Who's Matt S? Oh, Schaefer. Matt S. I don't look at him as being a Matt S. It's always Matthew. He's Matthew Schaefer. You predicted a Stanley Cup in the near future for the NHL team from Long Island. Was Jeff Goldblum realistic as the Fly? Did you ever see The Fly with Jeff Goldblum?
No. Yes, I have. I actually have seen that. Yes.
What was the best part? What do you think was the best part?
God, dude, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. All I can remember is him standing on the rafter and the stuff just dripping off of him. He's disgusting looking. Ugh.
My favorite part was when he's got Gina. Now he's barely human anymore.
Yeah.
And Gina Davis is in the room. He's like, oh, and he picks up something. He pukes on it and sucks on it. He's like, oh, excuse me, because that's how flies eat. They throw up on their food and then suck it up. The acid burns it down. And then when the guy he yaks on the guy's leg, he's like, ah, melts. I mean, I don't know what type of shit, what type of acid that flies have, but I wouldn't think. I mean, if a fly landed on you and even dropped a little bit of acid, you figured it would burn or something. I mean, if you're going to be able to melt limbs, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the potency or anything like that. I don't know, the bigger you are, the more potency on, fly puke. I don't know. I didn't think we'd be talking about this. Yeah, I thought that the Islanders had a chance to be. I don't think I ever said they'd win, but I think they had a chance to be, in contention for Stanley Cup. And then Matthew Darsh came in, took a wrecking ball to all the plans I had. So no shot, not anytime soon. Freedom Fund Adventure says Butcher Grass and Chris McKendry from ESPN were great to me when I started in the sports industry biz, and both gave me interviews. Yeah, Butcher Grass is great, really good. And Chris McKendry is all good also. Gungun says, should Islanders fans root for the Sabres since they're also from New York? How crucial in the Monkees was Peter Tork? You ever hear the Monkees? Do you know any songs from the Monkees? Any. You should know at least one song from the Monkees.
I know the Arctic Monkeys.
No, dude, the Monkees.
I mean, I probably have heard of their songs before, yes, but I wouldn't know that that's the band that played them. Name the song that I should know.
Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. They had a TV show.
Never heard of them.
What a loser.
The Monkees? When did this come out?
Like in the 1960s?
Oh, in the 1960s? Like 30 plus years before I was born?
You know what?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear
about
it.
I knew about Bing Crosby, who was popular in the 1940s, or Frank Sinatra, who's popular in the 1940s.
I know about Frank Sinatra.
And I wasn't born in that time. You don't know the Monkees?
No, I've never heard of the Monkees. I've ever seen monkeys at the zoo.
Oh, my God.
Arctic Monkeys I know of.
Oh, my God. Well, here's a good. They also had a song in
Hey, we're the Monkees. What the fuck is that?
We're monkeying around. They're too busy singing.
Never heard
Put anybody down. We're just trying to be friendly. Hey, the Monkees are good, dude. Matter of fact, next time you come over the house for free food and free drink, I'm gonna play the Monkees for you.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And they were like, it was
Daydream Believer. Is that a song?
Yeah, Daydream. Yeah.
How does that one go?
Dream Believer. Oh, what can I be? Da-da. Daydream. They also had a song in Shrek.
When I Saw Her Face.
That's right. That's right.
That was actually a remake that was made by Smash Mouth. They redid. They did all the songs.
Okay. It's the Monkees.
I'm in love.
Ooh.
I'm a believer. I'm an achiever. If I try, and then I saw her. Yes. Okay. That was Smash Mouth. You sung the song.
Okay. It's the Monkees.
Smash Mouth did a better job.
No, they did. They did.
Okay. Empire's requesting some music clips, so we'll play. Will we get taken down if we play music?
I don't know if it gets taken down if we play music or not.
We can't risk it. We can't risk it.
Maybe you could just play it in the background.
I think even if we play it in the background, it'll get taken down. I'll try.
If I had my CD right here, I could pop it in and just play it. I mean, it's just background music. I don't know. Just don't play it for more than like 5 seconds at a time. Like, you ever see those clips where those movies are copyrighted? They have reaction videos. They just fuzz it out or something.
Yeah, the first thing that pops up is Shrek.
Well, there you go. There you go, X. Okay, that's enough. Let's get to. All right, I don't know what that was all fuzzy. Whatever
Who's
you.
that?
You know what it sounded like? It sounded like Apollo 1 trying to talk to the tower just before the thing went and blew up and it killed all those
You hear
guys.
that or no?
No, I don't hear anything. No.
Okay, it's must not be. It's only playing on my end then.
Okay.
I can't
So,
share the screen, but yeah. Okay.
the Monkees had quite a few pop songs. They were the show was made to mimic the Beatles, is what they were doing. That's what it was doing.
Okay.
And it was very popular. You could, a matter of fact, you could go on and watch the Monkees on some type of streaming service right now, X. Well, after the show anyway. You know, they play the goofy stuff, you know, silly little half-hour sitcoms. And they'd always play one of their songs. Gungun says, should the Islanders fans root for? We already said that. We already did that. Frank from Empire State says, God forbid we couldn't MJ.
Move up.
Oh, move up. Oh, okay. Move up. Okay, there we go.
Well, we can't move up anymore because we have nothing to trade worth value.
That's right. No value. No value.
So kind of tough to do that when you can't trade anything.
Gungun says, can the Islanders unload some old farts this summer? Nope. Son X was leaving your last apartment a bummer.
No.
Are you still fully moved out of that last place you lived, X?
I mean, my stuff's out of there, yeah.
All of it? All of it? All of it?
Yeah.
All of it?
I need,
All
yeah,
of it. All of it. Everything is out of that place.
pretty much, yeah.
So that's a no. When you say pretty much, that's a no. Let's not revisit this conversation again, X. Just say no.
The stuff that I actually need is out of there. I'll say that.
Oh, okay.
The other stuff could be garbage. Yeah, sure. That's not stuff that I need.
Go back to that
Don't
comment.
move garbage with you.
Go back to that comment, please. That's not the comment.
I got a kid. Chill
I
out.
think I got a different comment up there.
Oh
me-
my days.
I don't think Darce has the capability of moving older players, but the salary cap is going up to $104 million this year.
A lot of money.
Yeah, it's going up quite a bit. And right, the Islanders couldn't afford this. They can't afford that. Well, I mean, with the dumb trades and absorbing cap space from other teams, just idiotic. You could have kept Noah Dobson.
Yep.
You could have kept.
But here's the thing: he didn't want to be here.
Okay, well, I think if
The
you would have,
last thing you want to do is keep somebody who's going to be complaining the entire time, upsetting other players, and then it's going to ruin the locker room. The locker room already is trash.
how much money he would have taken to stay. I mean, everything here they gave him a low ball offer. Maybe they didn't want him either. But what I'm saying is he's certainly better than anybody outside of Matthew Schaefer, and he's young, right? Certainly better than Roman.
He would have been the second best defender on the team.
And he's a right shot defenseman, which we don't have any of.
Yep.
Right? Okay, Freedom says Islanders would be better off being like San Jose and picking high in the draft for several years rather than finishing in the teens. Correct? Focus must be on trading who they can for assets and picks right now. Okay, then
That was the main focus. Why were we trading away picks for aging veterans?
if Matthew Darche does that, I don't know what
You have to check your pulse shake yourself because you're in a dream.
I don't know what's worse. If you just go with the style that he's gone with so far this year, which is to trade, assets to fill spots on the roster, it's never the way to go. But if that's just what he does, or if he does a full 180 and he starts now moving assets for picks, it would just show, dude, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Correct.
So I don't know which is worse. The best thing to do, of course, is to move older players
4 picks.
but you're signing everybody back again. Why sign Pajot back?
If you're just planning on getting rid of him.
It makes no sense.
I think it's because he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, but who would you rather be, X, right now? San Jose or the Islanders? The answer is San Jose.
I mean, the Islanders have Schaefer, but San Jose as a GM.
Schaefer, and Sorokin. That's what
Yeah.
they have. That's it.
Yeah, I think Barzal's been pretty good.
Okay. Is Barzal as good as Celebrini?
I don't know what were Celebrini's points this year.
He's not. Celebrini,
points?
20 years old?
Who had more points?
Celebrini.
We're talking about currently right now. We're not talking about, hey, 15 years from now,
Going forward.
Celebrini could snap his leg in half and never play again.
My question was, what team would you rather be right now? San Jose or the Islanders? Celebrini's 20 years old.
Okay, and Matthew Schaefer's what, 19?
18.
18? Okay.
Okay, but you don't have anybody to put the puck in the net right now.
You could go out and get
Your
some.
players most all your players are on the wrong side of 30.
You're gonna have go get an Austin Matthews when he becomes a free agent.
Why would Austin Matthews come to play for the Islanders?
Pay him a shit ton of money to get him to go there.
He's never
Pay
coming
him back.
He's never going to the Islanders. Never. Ever. Never, ever.
Do you think that's one of? Well, it doesn't matter if he's a free agent; he can go wherever. But
He's not is he free agent this year? I don't think he is.
let's look it up.
Look it up, X. Because you're talking, say we should sign Austin Matthews. I don't even think he's a free agent. I'm sure he's not. Matthew Scarver says Buffalo wins. That's true. And I will say that
He's on the second year of a 4-year contract, and 27, 28 after that season, he will be a free agent.
okay, so he's not going anywhere.
He's an unrestricted free agent on 2028.
He's going nowhere. So he's not coming to the Islanders. Maybe the Islanders, if they do make any signs, I mean, gosh, is that not a penalty?
He'd be 30 when his contract is up.
Yeah. I mean, so is Connor McDavid, right? How old's he now? He's got to be up there. Connor McDavid, 28, 29.
29. And his
29.
contract ends this year.
No, does not.
He's on year 8 of 8.
No, he's got 3. He just signed a contract last year.
Okay, sorry. The current contract he's on, he signed a contract extension for 2 years. That's what he did. The current contract he's on ends this year. The new one starts next year.
Okay.
And ends in 2028. He'll be 31.
Okay. Next, please. Next comment. Google says, how can the Islanders land Matthews and McDavid? Paint a different logo on your building and hope that he's stupid enough to not know where he is. Then get a signature on the paper. Get a real GM. That's it. You can't have Darsh in there serving, Dunkin' Donuts and, Starbucks coffee. Can't do that. Can either of those crappy franchises be persuaded? Yeah, they're not. No way. Islanders, no way. No shot. No shot. Sorry. Hate to rain on parade. No shot. Michael Pastore says, trade suggestion with the Oilers. Sorokin, Romanoff, Mayfield for Bouchard, Ake, Podolskin, Savoy, a 2028 first and a 26 first and a 27 first. Why would Edmonton make that move? They're not trading Bouchard. They're not taking Mayfield and Romanoff out of your hands. I could see you moving Sorokin. If you want to move Sorokin,
Yeah.
get yourself maybe a couple of firsts and Tristan Jarry. Get him. Well, you're gonna need a goaltender if you trade Sorokin.
Start what's his face? Rittich.
No. So I
He
mean,
played well this year. I didn't think he played poorly.
I think you'd have to send a goalie back. Something. But would you be opposed, X, to trading Ilya Sorokin for a couple of firsts and maybe a prospect? I would. I
You
absolutely.
not want an established player?
I could care less about an established player.
What I'm saying is, let's say you trade Ray Sorokin for a couple of draft picks and an unestablished prospect, and
Maybe Matthew Savoy.
the two draft picks you get to turn out to be nothing because you missed on them. Would you have rather gotten an established player who's proven in the league?
I would go for Matthew Savoy. I mean, here's the thing. They're not trading Evan Bouchard. It's just not happening. Podolskin, I mean, what is he really? I know he played on the first line McDavid this year. Matthew Savoy is a young guy. He was caught in the numbers crunch in Buffalo, and I just don't know what happened in Edmonton this year. But if you give me a couple of firsts and a young prospect, I would consider moving Sorokin for him. Because by the time the Islanders are good, Sorokin's not going to be in his prime anymore. Jeremy Ford says, I tried to trade Pelech with our number 13 overall pick to move up to the 4 to 7 range. I guess then you're looking to acquire defensemen, is what I would think.
The offense.
Yeah, but that's where that's where the range for defensemen is. Malhotra is the only guy who maybe you consider. They had Carrolls, like I said, Carrolls, Smiths, Reed. Those are going to be the three guys in that after that first little rush. Those three defensemen are going to go pretty quick off the board.
Okay.
Freedom Front of Bench says, Grumpy, was Sunex always this negative, or is he just kissing up to his meal ticket? No, here's the thing. X is usually, when he was an ignorant novice previously, he was all gung-ho Islanders. But now, you watch him a little bit and you kind of learn. It's like, oh, this is not right. X knows, right, X?
Yeah, I'm usually pretty critical on once I get a good bearing of teams and tendencies and what they do, I'm usually very critical on them.
That's right.
I'm a very critical fan. I'm somebody where if you're doing something wrong, you're messing up, I'm going to call you out for it. 100%.
There were even times when you were critical of the people's champion, as I remember.
Tom Brady?
Yeah. And didn't I shoot you down when you said that every time?
I had to speak facts. I'm sorry.
I said, do not
Sometimes
speak.
truth hurts. You know what? What's that saying? You can't handle the truth.
I don't want you ever speaking ill of the people's champion, ever. Jeremy also adds, I'd love to see Bjork fall. He could slide just like Eklund did last year. He's tiny. I think he's like 5'8", really light. Now he's really, really good, but he's light. So, small guys like that, I don't think he's super fast or exceptionally quick. I mean, I'm not saying he can't skate and he doesn't have any quicks, but I think it could be a struggle for him. But he's, as a hockey player at the lower level, has been really good. Frank from Empire State says, hit the thumbs up button. Yes, please do. Hit the thumbs up button for us. We would appreciate it. Jeremy Ford says, no on Belchez, Nick Ritchie. I don't know about Ritchie. Freedom says, Ethan Belchez. I can't spell it right, but 6'5", 230, left wing, who's mean, goal scoring, can skate. That or right-handed D, not named Ryan Lynn. Got to be size, physical, skill. Remember, I don't think in the NHL draft is not like the NFL draft where you got to come and produce right away. Major League Baseball, same way. You just have to go with the best player there is.
Yeah.
And you can't draft for position. You can't do it. Now, I'm not saying position doesn't come into it at all. But if you have like a cluster of guys that you really, really like, and you have them ranked, it's like, okay, Peyton Manning, when he was like the number one pick, right? Okay. Then you had your next cluster, you had, 5 or 6 guys. Then maybe you could reach, and I'm not saying reach, but you could let position come in as position in need and say, okay, these guys are all in the same group. Where are we really weak in our system? Oh,
That's what we need to get. Yeah.
That's who we pick.
Also, you have to think too with the NFL, A, there's a lot more draft picks, and B, there's a lot more player pool to select from than an NHL.
I don't think there's just as many almost the same NHL draft picks as NFL.
Okay, but you gotta think though how many colleges there are in the for the NFL compared to hockey teams that there are to draft players from.
Right, but you can also get players from Europe also.
Sure, but I mean, I don't know. You can do the same for the NFL. You could draft players all around the world in the NFL too. But
remember, there's a lot more positions on the field in the NFL.
Oh yeah, there absolutely are. You got 11.
You got or 11 to 5.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, Pony Boy says, hey, boys, I think Minnesota seriously effed up pulling Wallstead out of net for Gustafson. Walls certainly didn't have his best performance game in game 1 versus Colorado, but he was rock solid in the first round versus Dallas. Okay, you give up 9 goals,
You're getting yanked.
you're going to sit.
Unless you're Montreal Canadiens, then you just leave in Wah, and then he absolutely shreds the team.
Then you get traded somewhere else. Ponyboy says. So they pull him, and I would imagine he must now feel a sense of overwhelming pressure that he gets the nod again. If he makes any mistakes, he will certainly get pulled. Yeah, no. Sometimes you pull a goaltender. Maybe
Confidence.
right. Was he not playing well, or was he playing poorly, or did the team just need a shakeup? Hey, because a lot of times coaches do that. It's like, okay, our goaltender's given up a few goals, but the defense has been crap. Let's pull him and get the guys. Hey, this guy got pulled. Let's pull our game together.
It's kind of I think about it similar to like starting a fight when your team's down by a couple goals. It's like something to energize the team again.
Yep. Ponyboy says, we all know how much goaltending is contingent on psyche and confidence. I think he should have been given at least one more game before getting benched. I think he's more likely to steal a game than Gustafsson. I don't know. Gustafsson is not a bad goaltender. I mean, just shows you how fickle success is in the NHL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wallstead was great in the first round, comes out and lays an egg, starts second round. It happens. He's a youngster, too. His first year in the league. Freedom Fund Adventure goes, oh, my God, rubber stamp X covering up for Dobson, just like the rest of your family. Do your lips and jaw get tired from kissing your meal ticket's butt?
Okay, here's what I will say. If you actually watch the game clip of the first goal that's scored, actually watch it and tell me that goal is on Noah Dobson. It is a 3-on-1 with a trailing defender coming behind to cover the third player, where really he wasn't anywhere to make a play.
There you go.
There's nothing he could possibly have done right there. Nothing. It's a 3-on-1 break. How does Montreal's other defender allow a 3-on-1 break? Maybe that's your question.
His name is Landon Hudson. He doesn't play any defense.
Well, there you go.
JP says, you think Gavin McKenna is a shoo-in for number 1 this year? Yep. I don't know enough about my players in the minors this year and really know what internet hype is actually correct. He had a really good World Juniors, and then when he came back from that, he was really good for Penn State the second half of the season. Really good. That's what cements him right there. Remember, playing in the NCAA is way tougher than playing in the juniors.
Yeah, it is more difficult. Yeah.
Way tougher.
Not only does he have to fight out there on the ice, he also has to fight out there on the streets of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, X.
Stud.
Freedom says, Grumpy, they already hired Rocky Thompson. Okay, so I guess he's moving up from Bridgeport. Okay. JP says, Dubas and Fowler are up for good. Yevgeny Vulcan is also supposed to be really good. We're going to see. JP says Fowler is going to be awesome too, I believe. Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of good youngsters, a lot of good goaltenders in the minors. Let's see what happens. Not everybody pans out, like we've said before. Not everybody pans out. Freedom Fund Adventure says Staple has proposed the Islanders sending Romanoff to San Jose to swap picks. Other pieces, but we'll know San Jose tried to get him. Noted Romanoff never healthy last year, would consider, but want Pelech dealt more. So what Staple is trying to say is Romanoff and the Islanders pick for to San Jose. I would do that in a second.
Yeah.
Second. Why would San Jose want to make that deal? Ugh. Ugh.
They want an established defender. They didn't say what kind of established defender, though. They didn't specify.
Very true. Jeremy Ford says, and Jeremy always has good things, San Jose, Anaheim, Montreal, Buffalo, Ottawa, the next wave. Carolina has a little more runway. Yeah, they do. They're really young on defense, too. Totally agree. Some of the old guard is going to start crumbling. Pittsburgh, Washington, Florida, Tampa, Edmonton, LA, and Dallas. Yep.
Yeah, I think probably the player I felt the worst for this year was Anze Kopitar getting eliminated.
Well, you know what? Okay, but he's got 2 Stanley Cup championships.
Yeah, but still, you never like to see, especially like a legend like that, to go out. getting absolutely just obliterated. I would like to see him at least win a game in his last,
Yeah.
but
JP said there is no way Minnesota comes back versus Colorado. Not a chance. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I can't see it.
Matthew Sklarov says Ridley Gregg was the only guy who took the cheap shot.
Oh, was the guy who took the cheap shot at Carolina? Okay, gotcha.
Ponyboy Curtis says, really sucks we got gypped on of the potential series, which would have been Utah versus Anaheim. I think Vegas actually got a little bit lucky. They never looked like they were quite in control of that series. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Jared Blocker says, if Lynn and Belchez are gone by 13, I would take Wyatt Cullen. He's interesting. He's a forward. He's a late riser. I think he plays in the U.S. development program. I don't know. I just think Novotny's better. Play for St. Pete. Who knows? Gungun says, is John Cooper still crying about Game 7 after a steak dinner? Is Dog Z in heaven? Oh, my goodness. Right?
Dog Z does like he likes human food.
Eats everything.
Don't give it to him often, but he does like it.
Freedom Fundamental goes, guys, my question, when the Islanders physical enough wasn't wrong, answers only. They don't. They all were down in hits, minus few guys. Games were entire defense only had 2 hits between them.
That's because their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
And your best defenseman is more of a skill and finesse player, not I'm going to line you up on the boards and absolutely cremate you.
I mean, when the Islanders are really aggressive on their forecheck, they're much better. That's all I'll say. Gungu says, speaking of Dog Z, has he and TJ ever truly become friends? For Crosby, is this the end? I'll say it's not the end for Crosby.
No.
X, what do you say about Dog?
TJ always says that he wants to kill that dumb dog. That's what he always says all the time.
What does he do?
He
Picks him up.
I don't even know how to describe it.
He picks him up and he just mauls him.
He treats him like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. That's pretty much as close as I could say.
You are my friend, George.
Yeah, he treats Dog Z like Lenny.
But he does like the dog, though.
He does.
Drew says, hello, guys. Was watching the Knicks go up 2-0. Anyways, Grumpy and X, did you check out the video? Did you check out Drew's video?
I failed the task.
Nice failure.
Did you check out Grumpy?
Did you send me the video?
I thought, no, it was in there. Did you not have it?
No.
I swear to God, I thought I
You
sent
did
it.
not send me the video.
Well, I'll send it to you right now.
Okay.
I'll send you right now as we're on the show.
See, X supposedly is sending me a video right now. He was supposed to do something else this weekend, too, and it didn't happen. So who knows? Maybe I'll get the video. Maybe I won't. Next comment, please.
See, you're taking me away from trying to get the video right now.
Drew says, Leafs getting Schaefer, and it's all funded by the hockey gods. Couldn't you see that, though, really? I mean, he's still got 6 more years on the contract.
I'm sending it to Grumpy as we speak.
Okay, next comment, please.
It has been sent.
Pony Curtis says, both Kane series have been mind-bogglingly boring. Holy crap. It's like watching paint dry. They're on cruise control, having a cakewalk straight to the Eastern Conference Finals. I agree. That's how bad the Metro is, honestly. Just bad. I mean, in the first round, they manhandled Ottawa. I think Ottawa was better than any team in the Metro except Carolina. Philadelphia, no match at all. Ponyboy says, depending on how the Buffalo-Montreal series goes, they might not even be legitimately challenged until they get to the finals. I think that's entirely possible also. The biggest concern that Carolina had – now, here's the thing. They've been taking a lot of really dumb penalties, like too many men on the ice, throwing the puck into the stands. Those are dumb penalties, I'm just going to say. Now, they've been really good on the penalty kill, but how good is Anderson going to be? Is he going to be able to hold up over a 16-win season? No idea. We'll see. Mr. X. Freedom Fundamental says, Darsh did a great
Not overpaying weak defensive liability Dobson. Off-season trades, AHL and draft, poor Drouin signing, not making NHL club physical, and all 3 in-season trades. DeBoer hires strong.
What were his off-season trades?
I don't think he's made any trades in the offseason yet, as of yet, that I've seen. We had like trade deadline trades that were abysmal,
Bad.
but
Well, 2 of them weren't even deadline trades. They were, early season trades. Like what? 2.
oh, sorry, I read that 3 in-season trades. Why did I say off-season? Oh no, off-season trades. You said that. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that was the poor.
Sorry.
The Drew signing, not making NHL club physical, and all
Maybe
3.
he meant in-season trades were the
Yeah.
awful. Yeah, which I would agree on. They were bad.
Right. And he did like the DeBoer signing. Ponyberg Curtis says, have you guys watched post-game interviews, exit interviews with the Oilers? Holy shit. Are they in the midst of a tire fight crap show? That's what happens.
Yep.
That's what happens. You're seeing in other sports around the world where when things don't go well, man, oh man,
Things that are good, yeah, they fall apart.
they fall apart. Goon says, if Darce let his hair grow back, would it be smarter? Is Phil Spax a martyr? Phil absolutely portrays himself as a martyr, but he's not. And that's a good comment for me, X. Freedom Fun Event says, Son X, if TJ and your dad succeed in marrying off baby Eliza and Schaefer, how out of control will their power trips be while visiting the arena?
If baby Liza was married off to Matthew Schaefer, it would be insane.
There would be a thing.
It would be insane.
Okay.
What would you say, Grumpy? Would you say it would be insane? Be quite an age difference, I will say that, and I don't think that Matthew Schaefer would still be playing at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be quite an age difference.
She's too smart to date an athlete.
Too smart to date an athlete.
Mm-hmm. Ponybird Curtis says, Knobloch looks, sounds, and just gives off the demeanor of a man who knows in his heart it's over and he's fired. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, they lost a lot of guys last year after that second cup run, and they didn't have the money to sign anybody else.
True.
Ponybird Curtis says his future will be akin to College Quinn, and he'll be lucky to get an assistant coaching job, if not an equipment manager. Ponyboy adds, even before Anaheim won in Game 6, he just came off as nervous, scared, and timid. Drew says, I'm hoping for Ryan Lynn at number 13 to be false. He's too small. He's too small, defenseman. Freedom adds, Grumpy and Son X, I get the feeling Matthews is out of Toronto and McDavid is out of Edmonton this summer. Arctic Monkeys got a couple of great tunes.
Yeah.
Drew says, speaking of monkeys, did anyone say Curious George? No one did. The man in the yellow hat.
Yeah.
Drew says, question is, did X do his homework and watch my video? I highly doubt it.
I failed.
Failure. Jared Blocker says, I'm hoping for Ryan Lynn or Ryan Cullen at 13. I think they'll probably both be available. JP says, Darsh has been terrible. There's no way to avoid that. I still say the owners are the problem. Ponyboy says, I think Bowman should be under the hot seat. And what point do you not call up a team like Minnesota or Montreal who have 2 reliable, decent goalies and offer a trade for Nugent Hopkins or Hyman or somebody? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care about what other teams do, honestly. Particularly, I mean, they're still in the playoffs, so
They're not straight, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on how they perform,
yeah.
and think about it, if they make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, they're not trading anybody off that team.
Well, you have to change every year over year. You have to.
Yeah, but you're not going to trade a big piece, though.
Yeah, they're not. If any goaltender gets moved, it's going to be Gustafsson. It's not going to be Wallstead.
Yeah.
And then it's like, was Wallstead, was he just a one-year wonder? You got to have a little bit of, track record. Ponyboy says the Oilers defense was flat out insulting to the sport of hockey and its fans. I'm astounded at how many odd man rushes and defensive blunders took place against Anaheim. Okay, that's fair.
They should seriously be ashamed of themselves.
Wow. JP says, there's plenty of ways to rig it. Cover up the bottom of the machine, have one weight ball, 25% of the weight of the rest of the balls, etc.
Yeah, magnet. There's a lot of stuff that they can do.
Well, when they reloaded the balls in there, they were all the same number. Who knows?
You bounce around, nobody can really see.
Nobody can really tell. Frank from Empire State says, there's no way Darsh made those trades. Deadline moved on his own. The owners must have pressed him to do it.
I don't know.
Freedom in front of us says, Islanders didn't want Dobson any price and definitely not his ask or what Montreal paid, but he and his now wife wanted to be there, wanted to be here. She had a big life in New York. And what's new NYCM? I don't know. Okay, so they're saying that Dobson wanted to be there. Well, if the Islanders lowballed them, they deserve to lose him.
Yep.
It's dumb.
Oh, and the other thing I'll say about the previous comment, I would not be shocked if management came up to Darsh and said, hey, we want to make a playoff push. Do whatever you need to do to get that to happen. I would not be shocked. That would not surprise me.
Then you're not much of a GM.
I agree, but I'm just saying, would that surprise you if they came up and asked for that? No.
What would a real GM say if that happened? Dude, we're not in it for 1 year. I want to be here for 10 straight years. I mean, he talked them into giving him a job when he had no experience doing anything except serving coffee and playing pickleball. He talked himself into director of hockey ops. He could have talked him in, but just saying, I understand. I hear what you're saying. We're still going to try, but you know what? It's not about this year for us. I want to be in the playoffs, contending for a Stanley Cup every year. This team is not good enough for that. And obviously they weren't even good enough to make the playoffs, let alone be a contender. Ponyboy says, Sonex, who would win an arm wrestling match? You or TJ? What about a bare knuckle fist brawl? Any comments or speculation, Grump?
He's probably like 10 weight classes above me. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm not winning.
I think he just, he throws a heavy punch. Just like, it's like thud.
Yes. The only way I could win is if we had a bare knuckle fight that was like,
I know how you could win.
80 acres, and I could just run away from him, and then he would eventually get tired.
You could take some typical cheap shot.
I don't take cheap shots.
They're cheap shot of this X.
I do not take cheap shots.
Ponyboy says to the cheap shot X, Son X. Oh, go.
You already read this.
Cheap shot. Oh, yeah, okay, you can read this. Next one, please. Jared says, Sharks are in a much better position than the Islanders. How is this even a question? See, I tried to give you an easy question. You said, well, we have Schaefer.
Well, we do.
Okay. But you know what? They have Celebrini. And
if we actually had a GM, I think we would be in a better situation.
Well, that's true.
I don't think there's an argument for that. I think if we had a different person at the helm of this team that didn't trade away a lot of the picks that we had, we would be in a better situation.
That's true, X. I got to say. Freedom says Dorchester was correct on his path until his 3 in-season trades and not trading old guys. I believe he folded to ownership desires, which is bad, but they fired Lou for that and no retool. I mean, that's fair. That is fair. JP says, I have to admit, X, I'm not a huge fan of the Arctic Monkeys. I don't get it. Don't hear the magic in what they do yet.
Kind of like more laid back music.
Honeybird Curtis says, can you guys touch on the drama in Edmonton surrounding the speculation that he will be out of there and the request to trade if there isn't any organizational changes? I think he said that. I think that's why he signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
3 years to win a cup. This year was tremendously disappointing. I don't think he gets moved this offseason. I think next offseason is when he'll get moved.
Well, I think looking at his you're talking about McDavid, right?
Yep.
He's got 2 years left. He's under contract for 2 more years.
Right.
So next year,
they can bring a lot of the same team back.
Yeah, I think he'll be there next year if They don't perform well next year, though. I think they'll move them at the end of the year.
I agree. I agree to that. That's what they have to do, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You're not going to let it.
You're not going to let a guy like Connor McDavid go for free. You'd be stupid to do that.
Yes.
You'd be so dumb.
Yeah.
Maybe he can go ahead and pull the same crap Tavares did and say, oh, yeah, definitely plan on signing back here. 100%.
No one is dumb enough to do that.
Yeah, or fall for that.
Maybe the Darsh would be, but nobody else.
Yeah. LG's just waiting for two or Schaefer. That's all.
Maybe that's it. Ponyboy says, I don't think he would go to Toronto, Grump, because that would defeat the purpose of looking to go somewhere else to give him the highest probability of winning. Makes zero sense for him to go there. I don't know about that.
Do you think Toronto?
Toronto's like, Toronto is like, isn't Erie? But isn't that where he went to, juniors? Isn't that right by Toronto?
Well, I guess that's okay. So you're either one of two things. You're either saying he wants to play close to home or he wants to play somewhere where he has a shot to win. If he wants to play somewhere he has a shot to win, I don't think that's with Toronto.
I think he wants to win.
Then I don't think he's going to go to Toronto.
Where would he go? This is a discussion we had earlier. Where would he go? Buffalo, maybe?
Sure. Montreal.
I just think Toronto's not a terrible team, regardless of what the season turned out to be.
You're going to be getting rid of Austin Matthews soon. He's going to be gone. I don't know. I don't think Toronto's that good. And this year showed it. I was astounded that they were as bad as they were this year. What are you trying to look up?
Nothing.
Okay.
Freedom Fund says Grumpy and X, if Freedom is pushing 280 pounds, he is pushing one full TJ or not quite a full TJ. He's pushing a full TJ. Mr. B says if the Islanders had left Schaefer and Junior for the year, they might have actually been selecting number one overall again. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or have him go to college.
He never should have gone to play in juniors or in college. He shouldn't have. He's too good to do that.
I agree. But wouldn't you rather have them be real cautious with them, send him to – and, of course, it's not happening, right? I realize that.
No. And I'm glad it didn't happen because he was the one bright, shining star of the actual team this year.
But here's what else would not have happened. You wouldn't have traded for Braden Shen.
How do you know?
Because you would have been 25 points out of a playoff spot. You don't trade your futures for a 36-year-old with 2 years left on his deal and a 34-year-old with 3 years left on his deal. You don't do that when you're 25 points out of a playoff spot. You don't do it. So that's why it matters. Honestly. Drew says, all I'm going to say is my sleeper puck to win a cup. Montreal beat Tampa. Ha ha. They lost tonight. Yeah. Freedom Fund Venture goes, Islanders need to draft types or profiles more than possession. Mean, hard to play against, relentless shooters can skate, anything to win, opposite of the country club. I think they did that last year. All these guys had tremendous compete, and I'm all for that. You cannot teach drive and determination, and you cannot make someone care. They either do or they don't. It's wired in their DNA. That's why the best – you don't have to be the most skilled player to be dominant and be a winner. I'm not saying you can't have any skill, but you can't be the most skilled player and say, I have no determination. I'm just going to roll it out there on the floor. But you can win with a guy who's a little bit less physically, special with drive and determination. You can. Some guys are winners, some aren't. Freedom says, Son X put some thought into this answer before Grumpy. After a year of watching, what is the ideal Islanders off season? All right, X, I like that.
Probably trying to trade away Pelech, trying to trade away. I think Lee's still under contract, right?
No, he's not.
Okay, so he's free agent then. I'd say trying to trade away Pelech for some draft picks. I guess run it back. I mean, it's essentially all you can do. You kind of tied your hands behind your back with the direction that the team went during the trade deadline.
Okay, so you're doing nothing in the offseason.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Realistically, what do you think you can realistically do?
I'm looking to just offload guys.
Okay. I just said trade I mean, who else are you going to offload?
Well, there's a lot of guys you could move off this team. You got to try to move DeClaire off the team, right?
Scott Mayfield, you can maybe move, but who's gonna want him?
Nobody, because he's got too much term on his deal.
There you go.
I mean, you can move Pulak. You could. I absolutely try to move Romanoff.
Romanoff's not going to be moved with the duration of his contract that he has. He's almost unmovable.
Are you trying to say though that you feel the team should be in rebuild or just?
Yes, I think they should be in rebuild, but at the same point in time, nobody's going to want the players that we have that are available to move. Pajot would have been a really good player to move, but you sign him back to a contract extension, so you can't move him anymore.
I would try to move. Like I said, there's only a handful of guys on this team.
They should have moved Lee at the trade deadline. Decided not to do that. So you lost out on another player to move. I mean, I'm just saying there's not many guys that teams are actually going to want to go out and get. Or the value that you're going to get in return for those players is going to be literally nothing.
I think next week's show we're going to talk about who the Islanders should keep and who they should let go, or who they should look to move if there's a deal available.
I'd say about 75% of the roster can be moved if there's a deal available.
But we can talk about that next week.
Depending on the deal.
Yep. Drew says X is the type of guy who forgets to lock the door on the way out of work. Is that true? Yeah, that is true. That absolutely is true, X. That absolutely is true, X. You remember that conversation I had with you last week?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. That you are absolutely that guy who forgets to lock the door. So I'm going to say, X. I'm going to leave it at that. Another one, X. Thomas Antonetti says, good evening, gents. Lucky number 13 for the Islanders. I'll make a prediction that they take the best available forward at that spot, then go defense with most of the remaining picks. Thoughts? Again, I'm not looking for positions, but if I was looking for positions, I'm looking right-handed defense. They don't have
That's what they desperately need, yes.
They don't have any right-handed defense in the system. Not one. In the whole system, no one.
And you'd rather draft somebody who's a natural right-handed defenseman than have to convert somebody to play that position.
Or have Matthew Schaefer have to convert.
Yeah, you don't want the best player on your team playing out of position. You do not want that. Just because you don't have anybody else to put there. Because A, it's going to piss him off. It absolutely is going to piss him off because he's going to say, wow, it'd be so much better playing my natural position. Why would I want to stay here and play out of position when I can go somewhere else and play where I want to play?
I can talk myself into moving Sorokin now.
Funny, you said that I was delusional when I brought that up earlier, like a long time ago.
Well, but I'm not talking about now. Now it's different. It's a different time, different scenario. We have no prospects. We don't have anything.
You trade away your goalie prospect that you had.
Well, we also have the other kid, the Gamzin kid in Russia. He'll be here in 3 years. Thomas Anthony adds, what do you think they'll do with the backup goalie situation? Sign Big Save Dave or roll the dice with Varlamov or go with another stopgap option? That's the thing about backup goalies. They're imminently replaceable. Maybe you trade Sorokin, you keep Reddick and Varlamov.
Yeah.
As like a 1 and 1A. Varlamov will get hurt at some point in time, but Rich is good in spurts. I
didn't think he played poorly this year. There were a couple games where he was abysmal, but I didn't think all in all, I didn't think he played poorly this year.
You can't play him every night, Rittich.
I agree.
But if you can have a 1 and 1, a 1A, 1B situation with Varlamov,
split time, 50,
you're just like everybody else in net then.
Yeah. And
you can, get some draft capital.
Real assets for Sorokin.
Yeah.
Top tier assets for him. Yeah.
Thomas Anthony says, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Frank from Empire says, buy out Palat. Why the hell did you trade for him? He's 1 year, $6 million. 1 year, $6 million. What a mistake. Thomas Anthony says, forgive me if you already addressed this, But what are your thoughts on Rocky Thompson being promoted to the big club? Do you think he can help with the power play in any way? No. It's the players. It's the
Yep.
players. I've been saying it for years. How many power play coaches we had? We're always in the same spot.
Eventually, at the same, it's it comes down to the fact that it's not the coach, it's the players you have out there on the field.
It's the talent, right?
If you've gone through multiple, it's not the coach.
And how many points do you think they would have had on the power play if Matthew Schaefer wasn't there? Think about it, right?
Yeah.
Last comment to the final comment of the day. Freedom Fund Adventure says, I wonder if the Islanders totally fall apart this season. Veterans show they won't play hard for any of them. Don't want to get hurt or sacrificed. They are just collecting the paychecks for little effort.
Yep, they're looking to hit that, get that early vacation.
I don't know if that's absolutely the case.
I think it is with some of them. I don't think it's with the whole team, but I think it's definitely with some of the players. Crazy. Bo Horvat, right? Wow. When he actually was motivated, had something to play for, he played a lot differently than he did down the stretch at the end of the season. Crazy how that happened, right?
It's true, X. It's true. It's true. It's
Wow.
true. It's damn true.
I'll say Barzal hustles and tries all the time. He
Yeah.
has somebody who will give it 100%. He will do whatever he can to try and put up points and win games for the team. Schaefer, same way. Sorokin, same way. But I think really it's just those three. Don't get me wrong. I think other players try, but they're just not as good talent-wise as those three. Not even close.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I know you like to make fun of Emile the Eel, but he gives it 100% when he's out there, though. I don't think you can question his hustle. He tries. He's just not talented.
He sucks.
Freedom
Fund Adventure says, I wonder if the Islanders
You already
totally. Okay. And that was the last comment of the night.
Yep. Oh, we have a great show again. Thanks to Empire. And then hit the thumbs up.
Yep, please do.
Yep. Anything you want to say before we hop off tonight, Grumpy?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From Son X and the Grumpy Old Man.
Now, I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening. As always, love the interaction in the comments. Drew, we will make sure we watch your video for next time, and we will see you guys next time.
Next time.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Grump.
My pleasure.